our Sunday Bhakti Vaibhav class. Thank you for joining. So yesterday evening, we were discussing the meaning of the story that Narada Muni had spoken to Prachina Barhi. Then he further continues, what is the teaching that he wanted to discuss through the via medium of this allegorical story? That he says that a jiva, here for in our story, the Puranjana, having entered into the human body, that is the city of nine gates, uh, having come under the shelter of subtle body, especially the Puranjani, the intelligence and Chetana, gets to perform so many activities under the influence of three modes, forgetting one's own true identity. And then, as a result of those activities, one is taking birth in the midst of different circumstances. Sometimes he will have, as it is mentioned in the previous verses. So sometimes he will have happiness, illusion, and joy. In the mode of goodness, he will have satisfaction. In the mode of passion, he will have joy, and in the mode of ignorance, he will have illusion. This is what happens. And how does he experience these things? Satisfaction, joy, or illusion? By getting birth in different species. So it is said that sometimes he gets the form of a devata so that he will experience satisfaction. Sometimes he becomes a human being so that he will experience joy, and sometimes becomes animal so that experiences illusion and pain only. So that's what it is mentioned. And then as a human being, sometimes they are like man, sometimes woman, sometimes a nude. So these are different possibilities that are there for a living entity who goes through according to one's karma that is being indicated. And today we'll continue from verse number 30 onwards. So when a person gets birth under different living entities, and especially as a human being, in the human being also one has three conditions, sometimes as a man, sometimes as a woman, sometimes as a nude. So within human species, what are the different conditions one goes through? What are the different situations one comes across? That will be mentioned in the upcoming verses. Shutparito yatadina sarameya gruham gruham charan vindati yaddishtam dandam odanameva va tata kamashayo jiva ucha vachapata brahman upari adho va madhye va yati dishtam priya priyam.
The living entity is exactly like a dog who, overcome with hunger, goes from door to door for some food. According to his destiny, he sometimes receives punishment and is driven out, and at other times receives a little food to eat. Similarly, the living entity, being influenced by so many desires, wanders in different species of life according to destiny. Sometimes he is high and sometimes he is low. Sometimes he goes to heavenly planets and sometimes to hell, sometimes to the middle planets, and so on.
Yeah, what is the condition of such a soul who only performed activities to fulfill one's own materialistic desires? Just as a wretched dog, Dina Sarameya, just as a wretched dog, afflicted with hunger, wandering from house to house, Gruham Gruham Charan, by fate, sometimes gets the stick and sometimes gets the food. So, a street dog, not a pet dog, a street dog, being hungry, goes from door to door. Some people give some food to the dog, especially in the villages. This scene can be seen. In the cities, not so much. So then some homes they take a stick and beat the dog away, chase the dog away. So this is the condition of a dog which is hungry, looking for food, going from home to home. Similarly, the jiva, full of desires, wandering on high or low roads, by fate attains enjoyable or disagreeable bodies. Just like dog in some home gets food, similarly, the living entity when it gets some body in a Devata category or in the aristocratic family gets to enjoy. Sometimes the jiva gets a animal body or the human body of low, I mean, what you can say, no financial profile, something like that. They get beaten up. So that's what it happens. By fate attains enjoyable or disagreeable bodies in the higher, middle, or lower planets. In Swargaloka, Bhuloka, and Bhuloka only lower species. So it's like that. That is what happens. So this is how different variety of reactions one gets through. That's how it is indicated. And still Prabhupada quotes the verse. Prabhupada says that everything is linked to a dog. It is connected to a dog. Not a rich man's dog, but a street dog. So how a street dog goes through different difficulties, like that, Jiva goes through different difficulties. Even though one is in heavenly planets and Bhuloka and lower planets also. Urdhvam gachan satvasa, madhya tishtanti rajasa, jagannaguna vrittisa, adho gachan samasa, in that way. By the force of fate, he attains happiness and distress in these births. An example is given in two verses. The word Dina is used to exclude the dog belonging to a king. If the dog belongs to a king or a rich person, it is taken care very nicely. It does not have any problem of food. But the street dog has the problem of food. So in that way, the example is shown. The example is not in relation to king's dog or a pet dog, but that of a street dog. So like that, once difficulties are indicated like that of a street dog. But humans are not dogs. They can always perform some Vedic prayachita to overcome the suffering. But human beings are more intelligent than the dogs. They don't have to simply take on the beating. They can actually nullify the sinful reactions by performing some prayachita activities, etc. Somebody may question. For which Narada Muni answers. Dukkeshu ekatarenapi दैवभूतात्म एतुषु जीवस्य न व्यवच्छेदा साचेत् तत्तत् प्रतिक्रिया.
The living entities are trying to counteract different miserable conditions pertaining to providence, other living entities, or the body and mind. Still, they must remain conditioned by the laws of nature, despite all attempts to counter these laws.
So here it is said that even if there is a remedy, even if there is a remedy through prayachita, there is no cessation of even one of the jiva's miseries caused by fate, other beings, his body and mind. Daiva bhuta atma hetava. Adhyatma klesha, adi bhuta klesha, adi daiva klesha. There is no remedy for all these difficulties. Even though one may have performed the prachita rituals, still there is no complete removal of the miseries. That's what Nardumni says. The Vedic rituals and prachita rituals are not of much use, so they will not be of great use, because he has to produce the renunciation in the heart of our Prachinabari. In that way, he completely negates them. Uh, that is what is indicated here. The foolish dog gets the stick, but the intelligent man does not do activities to cause suffering. He has remedies for his suffering caused by sickness, which he happens to get. Even if there is some problem like sickness and all, there is remedy. Go to doctor and do the needful, or perform some ritual and get rid of that, etc., etc. But There is no separation from even one of the three types of suffering. But still, the suffering again comes. Just because having gone to doctor once, that does not give guarantee that again you will not become sick. कुछ दिन के बाद वापस बुखार आ सकते हैं. It is not a permanent solution. Whatever a prachita rituals, whatever solution offered by the prachita rituals, they are only temporary solution. They are only momentary solutions. The permanent removal of the suffering caused by Adhyatmika Klesha, Adi Bhautik Klesha, Adi Klesha is not possible at all by any kinds of prachita ritual. This means that the remedy is also a cause of suffering. There is no separation from even one of the three types of suffering, even if there is a remedy for the suffering. This means that the remedy is also a cause of suffering. Even one takes to prachita rituals, that ritual itself may nullify the current problem, but itself might be cause of some future problem. The ritual itself will have some sinful activity within it. Who knows? Next verse will tell. आगे verse में आगे example. So that's why Narada says that you, my dear king, you may think that you can perform prachita rituals. Your brahmanas are very expert in prescribing that. But the ritual itself will include some sinful activity that will be the cause of future misery. Are you nullifying the misery or increasing the misery? Kindly understand. So that will be elaborated in the upcoming verses. What exactly, how a remedy will be cause of future misery. Yata hi purusho bharam sirasa guru mudvahan tam skandena sa adatte tata sarva pratikriya.
A man may carry a burden on his head, and when he feels it to be too heavy, he sometimes gives relief to his head by putting the burden on his shoulder. In this way, he tries to relieve himself of the burden. However, whatever process he devises to counteract the burden does nothing more than put the same burden from one place to another.
Performing prachita rituals is like shifting the weight from the head to shoulder. That's all. It is not the complete removal of the weight. All the remedies are similar to a man who carrying a heavy burden on his head, place it on his shoulder. That's all. हेड के ऊपर बर्डन था, उसको शोल्डर के ऊपर शिफ्ट किया, बस उतना ही है. It's not the complete removal of the burden. Burden will be there, only you are changing the position. All the prachita rituals are doing that much only. They can't do anything substantial. That's why, my dear king, you may think about some prachita rituals for whatever sins you have committed, but they are as good as like this only. Shifting the weight from the head to shoulder. Still, you have to carry the weight. It is not complete removal, so not much use. So like that, Narada Muni is producing the renunciation in the heart of our Prachina Bari. Then Prachina Bari may say that, then what should I do? अभी ये रिचुअल नहीं करेगा तो अभी सैक्रिफाइस प्रायश्चित रिचुअल नहीं करेगा तो क्या करने का, ऐसा प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं. तो उसके लिए समाधान आगे बताएगा. Narada's description of the soul's positive and natural activity, that is bhakti. The solution is move from karma to jnana, jnana to bhakti. Slowly elevate your consciousness. Only don't depend only on karma, karmic rituals. They will not give you complete solution. So in order to get detachment, to come to jnana, develop knowledge, then finally take shelter of bhakti, that will completely uproot the tendency to do sin and the reactions also. So like that, Narada Muni gradually develops the entire. Sorry. In order to practice bhakti, yes, there should be some knowledge, no? That knowledge is called jnana. Yeah, the jnana is required. Without jnana, we cannot. Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, text number 16 to 30. Lord Krishna gives knowledge about the distinction between the body and soul. Without that understanding, we cannot practice bhakti. Bhakti किसके लिए practice कर रहे हैं हम? भक्ति किसके लिए प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं? हमारा उद्धार के लिए। हम कौन है? हम शरीर है और मन है, आत्मा है. That knowledge is required. That basic knowledge is required. Without that, we cannot practice bhakti. So that knowledge is required. That's why it is important. But why wouldn't the prachita destroy the sufferings? Question might come. For which? The answer is given now. Naikantata pratikara कर्मणां कर्म केवलम द्वयं हि अविद्योपसृष्टम स्वप्ने स्वप्न इवानगा.
Narada continued, O you who are free from all sinful activity, no one can counteract the effect of good activities simply by manufacturing a different activity devoid of Krishna consciousness. All such activities due to our ignorance. When we have a troublesome dream, we cannot relieve it with some troublesome hallucination. One can counteract a dream only by awakening. Similarly, our material existence is due to ignorance and illusions. Unless we awaken to Krishna consciousness, we cannot be relieved of such dreams. For the ultimate solution to all problems, we must awaken to Krishna consciousness.
So here Nardamuni says that, O sinless king, Anaga, in order to enthuse him, he's telling Anaga, O sinless king, there is no remedy for action by more action. A sinful activity cannot be removed by performing a prayachitta ritual. A action cannot remove another action. Both the sinful act and the remedial measure take shelter of ignorance. It is like the suffering in a dream while one sleeps. Somebody is sleeping and going through a dream. There is a lot of misery in the dream. And that person in the dream trying to do something to counteract the dream, counteract the misery in the dream. What is the proper solution to counteract the misery in the dream? Wake up. Instead of waking up, if you continue to do something in the dream, hoping that I am miserable in my dream, I will dream within the dream where I will be enjoying palatial building. But there is no guarantee that that so-called happiness of a dream within a dream can last long. There could be another misery. There is only way to come out of the misery is to come out of the dream, because the misery is in the dream. This is jnana. Whatever misery we are going through, it is like the misery in a dream. That understanding is gone. This is the fundamental principle of jnana. Next verse elaborates on this principle.
What about the pleasure that we imagine in the dream?
So they are also imaginary. You only telling they are imagining. So they are imaginary. Which are real? Real with the factual existence रहना चाहिए ना? Then you should be happy. Why are you suffering now? Then you should be happy.
Yeah.
If you have tasted the real happiness, you should be happy. Yeah. The cause of suffering is sinful action. We go through misery because of our past sinful activities. Therefore, with a desire to destroy all sinful actions by performing a great sacrifice, one can destroy all suffering. King might say like this. This is a suggestion by the king. We are suffering because of our past sinful activities. We can remove all the sinful activities by performing a nice prachita ritual, a sacrifice which can remove all the sinful reactions. Yeah, well, good. Apparent seems to be very nice proposition. Nice, we can do it. But Nardamuni answers. Nardamuni says that both the sinful act and the atonement take shelter of ignorance. The sinful activity is under the ignorance, and the ritual is also under ignorance only. How can a ignorant ritual can nullify the ignorant sinful activities? It cannot. Since both are caused by tamas and rajas. Why it is called ignorance? Ignorant about the factual existence of the soul and the super soul. Are the sinful activities and the rituals, which are called prachitas, are they happening with the complete knowledge of Atma and Paramatma? Are they happening because I am going through misery, so I need to get out of the misery, so I will do some ritual? What is the general understanding of the people who are going through prachita rituals all over India? To get out of the misery, but what is the understanding of their? Do they have the understanding of Atma Paramatma? Not. That's why the sinful activity and the ritual also are the activities under ignorance only. They come under the category of rajasic activities and tamasic activities only. They cannot be sattvic activities. Sattva means there should be some fundamental knowledge of Atma and Paramatma, the distinction between Atma and Paramatma, and also the distinction between the body and the Atma. Without that knowledge, whatever one do, that is all under ignorance only. So it is like that. A person completely submerged in rajas and tamas, there is no sattva guna. So he has performed some sinful activities. Now he has undertaken a Vedic ritual in order to nullify the sinful reactions, which includes all modes, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and Sattvaguna. All three gunas are there in that, what you can say, in that Prachita ritual. So now, though the Sattva portion of the remedy in Rajas destroy the Tamas portion of the acts previously committed, the Tamas portion of the remedy in Rajas remains. A person, a human being by nature, by default in Rajoguna, and he has done a sinful activity. Now, he is also undertaking a Prayachita ritual, which is prominently in Rajas, but which also includes some Sattva-guna, some Tamo-guna. Okay. So the Tamo portion, the Sattva portion of the remedy will destroy the Tamo portion of the sinful activity. And Raja portion of the remedy will destroy the Rajas portion of the sinful activity. The sinful activity was both in Rajoguna and Tamoguna. When we perform a ritual, the ritual will have different activities under three modes. Sattva-guna of the ritual will destroy the Tamoguna of the sinful activity. Rajoguna of the ritual will destroy the Rajoguna of the sinful activity. But there is Tamo also in the ritual. That will remain. That will be cause of future misery. Even a Prachita also does not give complete removal of the sinful reactions. The sinful activity is performed under Tamoguna and Rajoguna. Remedy, though it is performed under three gunas, Sattva nullifies Tamo, Raja nullifies Raja, but Tama remains. So some of you may question where Tama is involved in the what is this? Prachita ritual. The understanding is, thus, though a sacrifice destroys all sinful acts, the tamas portion, killing animals, remains. Because you are sacrificed, na? He's telling that, therefore, with the desire to destroy all sinful actions, by performing a great sacrifice, one can destroy all suffering. We can see two examples. After Mahabharata battle, all the Brahmanas and the other Pandavas also suggested Yudhishthira Maharaj, you please perform Ashwamedha Yajna, so that you are thinking that you are the cause of the death of all the warriors in the battle. You can be freed from the sinful reaction. Yudhishthira Maharaj gives two examples. How can the killing can be nullified by another killing? We have killed so many warriors in the battlefield. That is a sinful activity. How can that be nullified by killing a Ashwa in the Ashwamedha sacrifice? AB killing A, AB killing A. Just like a pot which was used to store liquor cannot be cleansed by liquor. Can we? That liquor smell will be there only. It will not go away only. So like that. So a sinful activity cannot be nullified by performing a sacrifice which involves animal killing. That killing remains as another sinful activity which will give further or future misery. So even the king who is expert in performing sacrifice, if he thinks that okay, no, let me do another sacrifice to remove all the reactions, Narada says no, that is not possible. It will remain, will not happen. The only remedy is to wake up. Unless until you wake up, no tangible solution you can offer. Waking up means jnana. This verse and the next verse, they teach what jnana is all about. Outside people are practicing so much jnana. That is nothing but jnana. Fundamental principle is that whatever we are doing now, it is all like a dream. Liberation means waking from the dream. That's all.
Hare Krishna.
1 second. I'll
Yeah,
take
yeah.
all of your questions after reading one small paragraph that will conclude what I'm saying now with a analogy, with an example. An example is given. In a dream, a son dies and one grieves. In a dream, a person got married, had a son, and son died within a year, and the parents are crying. In that same dream, one dreams that the son lives. In the dream only, the son was born, 1 year is over, son died. Throughout the day, they cried, and again the parents go to sleep. In that sleep, they have one more dream. In that dream, the son is playing. Then the father becomes happy. In the daytime, he was crying for the death of the son. But in the night time, he had another dream in which he is seeing the son is playing with him. He'll become happy. But in no time, then a snake bites the son, and again one suffers. In the dream, a snake said, while the father and son are playing, a snake suddenly comes and bites him. He dies. Again he cries. And next day morning when he gets up, again he starts crying. So whatever happiness one might go through, it is all temporary. So in that way. Just as the suffering in the dream cannot be stopped except by waking up, the suffering in samsara cannot be stopped except by destroying samsara, by awakening the knowledge of the distinction between the material body, Atma and Paramatma. Without that, there is no end to samsara. This is the fundamental principle of jnana. And this is also fundamental principle of bhakti also. For bhakti also, same understanding should be there. Without that, what we are doing, why we are doing, we don't understand. करते रहेंगे. So, etc. हाँ, Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, all the
Louder, so that they
all
will
the
understand.
rituals say purification.
Yeah, Prayachita ritual.
Rituals. They have the tamas portion.
Yeah, some will be there. Some part it will be there. Especially currently we are discussing in relation to the king. No? King is expert in performing sacrifices. In other place also there is some tamas portion also is there. Tamas portion will be there in every activity. Whatever activity you perform in the material world, even the activity in the mode of goodness also cannot be completely good in goodness. When we say goodness means 80% goodness, 10% passion, 10% rajas, the tamas. So it is all mixed with all the modes. That's why we say for pure goodness. Pure goodness means without any mixture of rajoguna and tamoguna. When we say goodness, 80-10-10. When you say passion, 80-10-10. When you say ignorance, 80-10-10. So it's like that. It's always mixed only. We will not get one separately in the material world. Yeah. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, actually similar question only, like I was feeling that do all the sacrifices involve killing? Because there are like Rajasuya Yajna and all, there is no killing, na Prabhuji?
In Rajasuya Yajna also there was killing. may not be the animal killing, but they were going for fighting. In the fight, there are so many people killed. Even for the yajna also, for that matter, may not be animal killing, but there is a killing of plants and all is there, na? Lot of wood is required, lot of ingredients are required for that, directly or indirectly, causing harm to the different plants.
Because generally the dried up wood is used, na Prabhuji? I don't
The
know.
wood becomes dry only when the tree is killed, tree is cut down.
Okay.
What to speak of that? Even for Jagannath Puri Ratha Yatra also, where do you get the wood every year?
Yeah, the trees are cut, no?
Trees are cut. Even for making the DT also, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra DTs also during once in every 12
Yeah.
years or 18 years, a tree
Yeah.
is being cut.
Yeah.
So there is some portion of tamas in every sattvic activity also.
Okay. So the Lord's deities made that also involves the tamas portion.
Cutting a tree is tamas.
Okay. Yeah. So only means then what is not in tamas? Only the bhakti activities which require involve chanting and hearing and things like that. That will not have tamas.
See, bhakti activities are beyond three modes, but the performer is in three modes. The performer makes the nirguna bhakti as saguna bhakti.
Yeah. Understood.
See,
Then what is the remedy, Prabhuji? Like then everything we do will be always tainted with some part of rajas and tamas.
yeah, if we do for our sake, we have to take responsibility. If we do for Lord, Lord will take responsibility. That's all. Simple. Remedy is very simple. हम किसके लिए कर रहे हैं वो responsibility लेंगे. हम हमारे लिए कर रहे हैं तो हम responsibility है. हमारा responsibility. हम किसी और के लिए कर रहे हैं तो वो responsible है. If we do Lord के लिए, then he is the responsible person. Or DT is made for Lord, not for us. So he is responsible. He is responsible for the tamasic activity.
Prabhuji,
When the
I
activity,
didn't understand. Sorry, yeah, continue.
sorry,
No, the last part I didn't understand. Like you said now that the deity is made for the Lord, not for us. So I didn't understand that why it is made for Lord. Why? What is the need to of the Lord to make own deity?
he wants to change his body. Navakalevaram, na? He wants to change his external manifestation, the Daru Brahma, Daru form. So he wants a new body. Just like we change clothes every day, we wear fresh clothes every day. It is we want change. So it's like that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
That is there, na? Exista Sinashanto Muchanti Sarvakilpichai, Bunjatete Agama Papa, E Pachanti Atma Karanat. That Atma Karanat is the important thing. किसके लिए वो कर रहे हैं वो इंपॉर्टेंट है. आत्मा कारणात के लिए कर रहे हैं तो आत्मा इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल. भगवत कारणात कर रहे हैं तो भगवान इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल. दैट्स ऑल. सिंपल. यज्ञार्थात कर्मणो. परफॉर्म ऑल द कर्मास फॉर यज्ञ. अन्यत्र लोकोयं कर्म बंधना. अदरवाइज इफ यू डू कर्मास फॉर आवर सेक वी आर बाउंड. सिंपल.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
So kindly pay attention for the next verse. That is one of the important verses of the Bhagavatam. That is the most maximum times quoted verse in the entire Bhagavatam. But aren't happiness and distress qualities of the body? आप बोल रहे हैं happiness, distress, misery, samsara, does they not belong to body? Where is the suffering for the jiva who is disassociated from the body? हम तो सुना था गुरुकुल में Atma is nothing to do with the body. All the miseries are for the body only. How can the soul suffer? What is the use of trying to destroy suffering that does not exist only? So one may question that. For which Narada Muni says no. अर्थे हि अविद्यमानेऽपि संस्कृतिर्न निवर्तते मनसा लिङ्गरूपेण स्वप्ने विचरतो यथा.
Sometimes we suffer because we see a tiger in a dream or a snake in a vision. But actually, there is neither a tiger nor a snake. Thus, we create some situation in the subtle form and suffer the consequences. These sufferings cannot be mitigated unless we are awakened from our dream.
If you want to summarize the philosophy of Jnana, this is the verse. The entire philosophy of Jnana is presented in one verse. And this verse comes in 5 places in the Bhagavatam. Third canto 1 place, fourth canto in the same chapter 2 times, 11th canto 2 times. Wherever the Jnana is being spoken, in all those places it has come. This is one of the key verse of the Jnana philosophy. It means, though suffering does not really exist for the Jivatma, for the Atma per se, there is no suffering at all. But samsara will never cease. As long as the conception of suffering continues, just as the suffering in a dream will never cease for the Jiva wandering about with the covering of the mind, as long as he identifies with the dream. When a person is sleeping, he is going through a dream. In the dream, the person is being chased by a tiger. He is going through the fear, pain, anxiety, so many things. What is the way out? Wake up. As long as one identifies with the dream condition, the suffering will never go away. Same way, as long as we identify with the current body, whatever suffering we are going through, it will never be removed. Solution is, just for a person who is suffering in the dream, solution is to get out of the dream. For us also, get out of the current misidentification. Then only we will not be subject to the suffering that we are going through now. That is the solution. And this is Jnana. And that's why they say, I mean, of course, this is Mayavada philosophy, but somewhat similar. Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya. The Jagat in which we are living, the human body in which we are living, it is all like a dream body, which has no factual existence. In the dream, we may see so many things. We may see a tiger. We, out of fear of tiger, we are running. We are climbing onto a mountain. Then, पीछे दिखेगा तो tiger है, आगे दिखेगा तो cave. Not cave, what is it? Valley. Yeah, so jump, either jump or become food for the tiger. Both way, one is gone. That is the situation now. So the only solution is to come out of that identity. Currently, we are in the bodily identification. I am man, I am a brahmachari, I am an engineer, I am this, I am that. So many identities are there. Along with the identity, there is a lot of associated misery. If we want to become free from the misery, we are supposed to become the free from identity. Performing a prayachitta ritual to minimize the misery is not the permanent solution. That will create new misery. What is the permanent solution? Understand that we are in the dream and come out of the dream. That understanding that we are in the dream is Jnana. That is the principle of Jnana. That's why they say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Just like the tiger and the mountain and the valley, as soon as you get up, none of the things are there in front of you. They are all a dream object. They are all imagined objects. Same way, whatever misery we are going through, that everyday local train, this, that, so much problem. As soon as we get up, they are like imaginary things only. So we have to follow Jnana. Wake up means, first of all, to wake up, we have to understand that we are in a dream. That itself is a big thing. Understanding that we are in the dream and trying to getting up from the dream is Jnana. After getting up, what you will do? That is Bhakti.
That is dreaming. Somebody from outside will have to wake you up there now.
Huh?
So he is dreaming, he is happily dreaming. He does not realize that he is dreaming. Somebody from outside will have to wake him up.
Not required. One has to get up. One has to get up.
Guru kya kare?
Huh?
It's the gurus who makes you awake. Right?
Why you want guru to wake up? You don't want to make an endeavor to get up?
Yeah, training from
That is a problem with us. We want to put the responsibility on somebody hands. We don't want to do anything. हमको
yeah.
अभी बोलते हैं अभी घर पे कभी जाएगा तो ना अभी थोड़ा चांटिंग करो थोड़ा भक्ति करो बोलेगा तो जब वो बुलाएंगे तभी करेंगे वो बुलाएगा तो करेंगे ना तब तक क्या नहीं करेंगे इट्स अ बिग प्रॉब्लम इन इंडिया सब लोग वही बोलते हैं जब वो बुलाएंगे तभी जाएंगे कभी कभी लोग तिरुपति जाते हैं बोलते हैं ये बुलाए इसलिए आया था मैं हम बहुत साल से सोच रहे थे जाने का अभी टाइम आ गया अभी वक्त आ गया वो बुलाए See, we don't want to do anything. We want somebody else to do on our behalf. That is a big problem in India. So it's like that.
Hare Krishna, bro.
Your voice is not audible.
Are you able to hear me now?
Now okay.
Okay. Prabhuji, broadly, if you say that atonement cannot actually help in one's, I mean, in the analogy that the burden is shifted from there is a temporary relief because the burden is shifted from the head to the shoulder.
Yes.
So temporarily there is some relief period, and afterwards again he is going to face. So he has purchased some time. That's the only difference.
Yes.
So my question is that by doing demigod worship or by doing this prayaschitta, can the karma, is it that the karma is adjusted for some time and then it will come again, or can the karma be changed like, by
So
doing
it is
anything?
not that karma being changed. We have done some sinful activity and we'll be going through some remedy. The remedy will nullify the previous sinful activity, but the remedy itself is a new sinful activity now. It will cause future misery.
Okay.
Because the remedy itself is a combination of sattva guna, rajoguna, and tamoguna. The sattva and rajas will counteract the rajas and tamas of the sinful activity, but the tamas of the remedy will remain. So that itself act as a new sinful reaction.
So the remedy itself has a tamoguna.
Yes,
So
every remedy has some
yeah.
tamoguna.
So when it is free from tamoguna, then we can call it as gnana or bhakti. Is it like that?
Remedy means it is a karma activity only. Jnana is not a remedy.
Okay.
Jnana and bhakti does not act as remedies. Remedy means a prachitta remedy. It is actually part of karma only.
Okay.
Uh.
Okay. That means the desire to get freedom from that kind of sinful reaction itself is the cause of problem.
Desire is not the problem. The activity, performing activity. Desire is okay. If you want to get free from the sinful reactions, the desire should be properly directed to take the shelter of jnana. Then one can get up from the dream condition. In the dream only you want to do something. तो आप ड्रीम में है कुछ भी करो ड्रीम में ही रहेंगे ड्रीम से बाहर कब आएंगे within the dream whatever remedy you take care the misery will never go away.
I'm telling you from the point of view that say we are practicing devotional service.
See, forget about Bhakti Prabhuji. Don't mix intermix.
Okay.
We are gradually upgrading. Try to follow what Narada Muni is saying. Don't introduce our own concepts.
Okay.
Here Narada Muni is talking to Prachina Bari. See the dialogue. We are nicely going through that like a dialogue.
Yeah.
Our Prachina Bari was told in the beginning that you have killed so many animals, you have done hundreds of sinful activities. So Prachina Bari is saying that my Brahmanas have prescribed me to do some Prachita ritual, so I can come out of it. If you think like that, that kind of rituals are like lifting the weight from the head to the shoulder. Because the ritual itself has a lot of sin. Then what is the way out? Take the shelter of Jnana. What do you mean by Jnana? Jnana means understand that whatever you are doing, it is all like a dream. So solution is to get up from the dream.
Yeah. No. I am trying to apply whatever Narada Muni told to my
Ah,
case,
ah,
because there is some portion, right, which is meant for our teaching ourselves also.
ah.
So there is some case like there is a specific thing about Prachina Barihi that he wants to do some prayaschitta, but to create vairagya and to
Hmm.
get him out of prayaschitta mentality, Narada Muni is telling. But what is
Na-
applicable to our case?
Everything applicable to our case. We also
Yeah,
need
that's
to have wholesome understanding. We cannot be having limited understanding. We should not take one verse out of context. We have to see the whole section and then
okay.
understand what is what. Improper understanding is dangerous than no understanding.
Okay.
So we need to wait. We cannot take the solutions verse by verse, one by verse, only from one verse. That's why I'm not reading the purports. In each and every purport, Prabhupada states that by taking on to bhakti, you will free from this. In every verse, Prabhupada says that. But that conclusion will be given at the end of the section. That's why I'm not reading the purports.
Okay.
Because Prabhupada's understanding is that people do not read completely. So in every verse, he gives the solution. By taking on to Krishna consciousness, you will get freedom from all these difficulties. But since we are studying the whole section, we need to do properly. That's why I'm taking it like a dialogue
Okay,
between
Prabhu.
two people, what they are discussing.
Yeah.
So don't try to
That,
find solution at one verse only.
okay. So I
You
have
need to
another
wait till the
question.
end of the
Yeah.
section.
Yeah. Can I
It
ask
should
one more
be a
question? Yeah.
no. It should be a gradual and wholesome understanding. We many
Okay.
times we mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna talks about that Sankhya Yoga in the second chapter. But at the very beginning, it tells that that is the very much basic knowledge required for anyone to either practice Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Without
Correct.
that basic knowledge of distinction between the body and soul, one cannot practice anything.
Right.
That understanding should be there. Without that, only all these problems will be there.
Correct.
That should be given in the beginning only.
Right.
Hmm.
So can I ask another question?
What is that?
Okay. So this waking up from the dream is also like a very gradual process, meaning as we advance in the devotional service, naturally it is like waking up from the dream. Or is there a way
Prabhuji,
like,
why Bhakti? Don't add Bhakti. We are still talking about some basic knowledge. Waking
okay,
up means understand that you are neither the gross body nor the subtle body. You are Atma, parcel of Paramatma. That is waking up.
okay,
That is required for both bhakti and for both jnana and for ashtanga yoga and for karma also that is required. For
okay,
practice Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, for all the four yoga systems, this knowledge is very much required. This is like the basement of a building.
okay,
With this only you can start Bhakti. With this only you can start Jnana. With this only you can start Ashtanga. With this only you can start Nishkama Karma Yoga. Without this, what you can do is Sakama Karma or Adharma. For Adharma, you don't have to have this knowledge. For Sakama Karma also, you don't have to have this knowledge.
okay,
Hmm.
clear.
आपका कुछ प्रश्न है? Yes, Vineet Prabhu. Because happiness and distress are qualities of the body. Actually, there is no suffering for the jiva who is disassociated from the body. What is the use of trying to destroy suffering that does not exist? This is also Indian philosophy. आप कुछ भी करो अल्टीमेटली वहीं पे जाएंगे सब रास्ता वहीं पर लेके जाएगा आपको ज्यादा सोचने की जरूरत नहीं आपको ब्रह्मचर्य लेकर जरूरत नहीं आप घर पे रहो ब्रह्मचारी बनो अंत में वही जाने का आप ब्रह्मचर्य क्यों ले रहे हैं आप भक्ति करो कर्म करो अंत में वही जाने का भक्ति क्यों कर रहे हैं कर्म करो ना दिस इज द कॉमन फिलॉसफी अवेलेबल इन एवरी टाउन एंड विलेज इन इंडिया देयर आर 100,000 पीपल टॉक अबाउट दिस आते समय क्या लेके आया जाते समय क्या लेके जाएंगे जो हुआ अच्छा हुआ जो हो रहा है अच्छा हो रहा है जो होगा अच्छा होगा this is the common words circulated during the January 1st because new calendars come na in the back side of the new calendar this is what is written even the calendar also down below some empty space is there na they say Gita sar जो हुआ अच्छा हुआ जो हो रहा है वो अच्छा हो रहा है जो होगा अच्छा ही होगा आते समय क्या लेके आया जाते समय क्या लेके जाएगा This is the general philosophy of India. So here same thing. अभी अभी शास्त्र कहते हैं सुख दुख शरीर का है, आत्मा तो शुद्ध है। आत्मा तो शुद्ध ही है, तो आत्मा तो परिशुद्ध नहीं होगा। जो करना करो, जो भी कर रहे हो शरीर के साथ चला जाएगा। जब शरीर मट्टी में मिलेगा, सब कुछ मट्टी में मिल जाएगा, आत्मा वापस जाएगा, मुक्ति मिल जाएगा आत्मा को। हाँ,
This is a different philosophy.
that's what I was hearing from childhood. This is a common philosophy in every town and village. That's what they say. जो भी हो रहा है सब शरीर के साथ हो रहा है ना, आत्मा शरीर से संबंध नहीं। बाद में जो भी हो गया वो शरीर के साथ चला जाएगा। जब शरीर मट्टी में मिल जाएगा, सब कुछ मट्टी में मिल जाएगा, आत्मा शुद्ध है ना, आत्मा मुक्ति मिल जाएगा आत्मा को। इवन that's what everyone says. मुक्ति कभी मिलेगा, मुक्ति कब मिलेगा, कब? उनका मुक्ति मतलब मृत्यु। People in general they think that mrityu means mukti or mukti means mrityu. They say that lot of problems are there. This person is causing trouble, that person is causing trouble, daughter-in-law causing trouble, son causing trouble. So many they say. जल्दी मुक्ति मिलने दो, जल्दी मुक्ति मिलने दो। They think that मृत्यु आ गए तो सब full stop, सब कुछ बंद हो जाएगा, दूसरा जन्म नहीं मिलेगा, रही रहेगा। They say that okay, पशु पक्षी का योनि है, उसके बाद मनुष्य योनि में आएगा, मनुष्य योनि में आने के बाद मुक्ति मिल जाएगा, बस हो गया, हमको मुक्ति प्राप्ति हो जाएगा। This is the understanding of general Indian, at least in the previous generation. And nowadays, no one bothered about mukti. This is what I used to hear in my childhood. Even when I was about to become brahmachari, every day, whenever I go home, every day one gentleman used to come and give their philosophy. Many people gave many philosophies. So I was forced to hear all these philosophies. Because I cannot say also no to them because they're elderly, they're all like well-wishers and relatives. Okay. Thank you. हाँ, अभी नहीं, थोड़ा ट्रेनिंग के लिए जा रहा हूँ, एक साल ट्रेनिंग करके आता हूँ। So it's like that. Though suffering does not exist for jiva. Okay, we'll also accept. The jiva does not have any relationship with the suffering and happiness. Fine. But without wiping out that misconception of suffering, material existence will not cease. Currently, we are going through suffering, even though you may say that suffering is only belongs to body, but we are identifying with the body. Are we free from identity? When somebody asks, who are you? They say that I am so and so. If somebody gives less respect, थोड़ा सा कम हो गया ना, बस भड़कते हैं. They did not give me first place in the पंक्ति. भोजन परोसते समय मुझे फर्स्ट प्लेस नहीं दिया, मुझे ये आइटम नहीं दिया, वो नहीं दिया. They become so this thing. So when somebody did not respect, somebody did not speak to them, they'll keep that in mind. Next time they take revenge. वो इतना रहता है, सबके सामने उसका गाल निकाल देते. I mean, it's very dangerous. When a person is respected, na, if there is slight disrespect, person cannot tolerate. Because that expectation is there. That is all because of identity. Unless until we come out of that identity, samsara will never cease. So it's like that. In a dream, false objects continue to give suffering to the jiva, moving about with the mind, which is a covering on the jiva, until that person wakes up. As long we are in the dream, the tiger continues to chase us, and we are continuous to see the mountain cliff and afraid of valley. So those things are continuously happening. There is no end to them. The only way to come out of that is come out of the dream. That is the only solution. Coming out of the dream means educate yourself that you are not the grass body, you are not the subtle body, but you are the spirit soul. And that spirit soul is a fragmental part of supreme spirit soul. Paramatma.
Problem solve नहीं होता है ना. Just by having that theoretical knowledge does not solve everything. You still have that ego, you still have that false identity. It does not go.
That means you are not understood. See, understanding means not just theoretical understanding, it is a realization.
Sometimes what happens is we lower your standard of respect. See, sometimes
Uh,
the material world around you, you say, okay, this is okay with him. Now let me continue with that. This happens to a great extent. And then someone will come and say, why are you doing this? You are entitled for so many other things. Why don't you do that? So, I mean, why don't you take all that in your hands? All these kind of mixed.
but what is the fundamental problem? What is the basic problem?
The problem is you are only identifying with the body that time.
No, basic problem is that we own this material world. We think that this world is mine. We own, this belongs to me. That is the problem. When we say that this does not belong to me, then there is no problem. Where are the problems? Problems are within our home or problems are outside our home? No, I'm talking about home. The problems are within our home or problems are outside our home? Even outside our home also, problems may happen just only the neighbor, next door neighbor only. Problem will never happen with a person who is at furlong distance. Generally, it will never happen. Even if there is some problem happens on the roadside also, when there is some collision between two people, two vehicles are colliding each other, there is a tug of war between them. Otherwise, if both people are traveling on different pathways, there is any problem? That is because we own. We own the people with whom we are residing. We own the world in which we are living. That ownership is the source of all the problems. The matter belongs to this world. Spirit does not belong to this world. When we identify with the spirit, we disown the matter. That means within the bracket, we disown the world, which includes the family members, the property, the job, bank balance, the vehicles, everything, because of which we have so many troubles. The main problem is that we own this world. That is the problem. So disowning this world is waking from the dream. Owning this world is dreaming. Nice dream. Kitna acha dream hai. We own so many things. So many things belongs to us in the dream. So that is, it is like that. Hare Krishna, any questions online?
No,
No,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
So kindly note down the verse numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This verse is coming in 5 times in the Bhagavatam. That shows its importance. This is the sum and substance of Jnana. Slides already sent to you, but anyway, still you take photo. And the next verse is the verse which is the sum and substance of Bhakti. That comes only 4 times in the Bhagavatam. That does not come 5 times. See, try to understand. Jnana has given more importance than Bhakti even in the Bhagavatam also. Because that is so important. So it is like that. So this is the Bhakti verse comes 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. This verse is somewhat similar, but not exactly same. That's why I put it in the bracket. The Bhakti verse comes only 4 times in the Bhagavatam. This verse is the sum and substance of the entire Bhakti process. Second verse, 37. How then can one destroy this samsara? See, first of all, we need to educate ourselves. We need to understand that we are in the dream. Then we need to come out of the dream. How can we safeguard ourselves that we will not go back to dream once again? That is, coming out of the dream is with the help of Jnana. Not going back to another dream is Bhakti. So like that. Atatmano artha bhutasya yeto anartha parampara samsrutistad vyavacchedo bhaktya paramaya gurau vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yoga samayita sadrujinena vairagyam jnanam cha janaishyati.
The real interest of the living entity is to get out of the nations that causes him to endure repeated birth and death. The only remedy is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead through his representative. Unless one renders devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev, one cannot possibly become completely detached from this material world, nor can he possibly manifest real knowledge.
Anyone remember? This verse came sometime in the Bhagavatam, sometime back. What was that verse?
Yes, Prabhuji. This Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. That one?
That one, the same. That verse is summoned substance of bhakti, which comes only 4 times in the Bhagavatam. The previous verse was the summoned substance of jnana. That comes 5 times. So jnana is important. Matlab, jnana acts as the fundamental principle. With that background of jnana, one can take up bhakti easily. So that is understanding. So how Narada Muni taking further? How then can one destroy the samsara completely? Not superficially, not temporarily, not transferring weight from the head to the shoulder. पूरा निकालने का. वापस नहीं आएंगे. ऐसा solution चाहिए हमको. For the jiva, who is actually a spiritual entity, that is jnana. Understanding that we are spiritual entity, we are not the body, and that spiritual entity is a part of the supreme spirit is jnana. Okay, from whose ignorance arises the unending succession of miseries. Forgetting that oneself is the spiritual entity, a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is the ignorance, and identifying oneself with the material body is the disease. Disease means misery. So, from whose ignorance arises the unending succession of miseries, not one life misery, life after life, misery after misery, misery after misery, birth after birth. Samshruti means samsara. That misery ceases. How that misery completely ceases? By pure bhakti to the Guru. Bhaktya paramaya gurau. Undertaking pure bhakti unto a Guru. Understanding bhakti from Guru and practicing bhakti for the pleasure of Guru. With the background of jnana. Have the background of jnana, then approach a Guru, take shelter of Guru, practice bhakti for the pleasure of Guru, then one samsara will be completely eradicated. So that is understanding. Jnana alone can wake us up from the dream, but does not give the guarantee that we will not get another dream. But jnana should act as a fundamental principle so that we come to bhakti eventually. That jnana mishra bhakti or bhakti, jnana mishra bhakti will bring us completely from out of samsara. So it's like that. Now, how does the bhakti acts? अब आप अच्छे से बता रहे हैं भक्तिया परमय गुरु गुरु के लिए भक्ति करो जो गुरु से द्वारा प्राप्त हुआ भक्ति को गुरु को प्रसन्नता के लिए करो. हाउ डज दैट भक्ति वर्क्स? जो कर्मा काम नहीं कर पाया, जो ज्ञाना काम नहीं कर पाया, हाउ डज भक्ति विल वर्क? भक्ति के पास इतना क्षमता है क्या? कोई प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं. देन नारद मुनि इमीडिएटली टेल्स हाउ डज दैट भक्ति फंक्शंस. दिस इज द भक्ति. What bhakti is all about if somebody asks, this is the verse. The stage of Prema Bhakti, completely dedicated to Lord Vasudeva. Vasudeve Bhagavati Samahita. Samahita means completely, Manasa Vacha Karmana. Produces complete Jnana and complete Vairagya. Sadrishanena Jnanam cha Vairagyam. The Guru will give us sadhana bhakti. By the practice of sadhana bhakti, will progress from Madhav Shraddha to Sadhu Sangha to Bhajana Kriya to Anartha Nivrutti to Nishtha to Ruchi to Asakti to Bhava to Prema. Prema means Bhakti Yoga. Here Bhakti Yoga indicated here is not sadhana bhakti. This is Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. By the practice of sadhana bhakti, when we come to Prema Bhakti platform, the Jnana and Vairagya will naturally manifest completely. How can one stop samsara? By the way, samsara is stopped. as a byproduct. One no need to worry about samsara. Samsara gets extinguished as a byproduct only. Like when we cook, when we prepare something, when we cook some sweet rice under the wood fuel, cooking is done. Sweet rice is prepared. By the way, the wood is transformed into ashes. So now it has no existence. So like that. So when we practice bhakti, sadhana bhakti, that will bring to prema bhakti. By the way, samsara will be destroyed. Samsara is like the wood. With that samsara only, with that wood only, we are preparing the meals. The meals is ready. But by the way, the wood is destroyed. Samsara also will be destroyed. So like that. How can one stop samsara? At the beginning stage of bhakti, for the jiva dedicated to the highest goal, from whose ignorance arises a succession of obstacles in samsara, the cessation of samsara will take place by devotion to Guru. By Satam Krupa, we take Guru Padashraya. By Guru Padashraya, the Guru will engage us in Bhajana Kriya. That Bhajana Kriya eventually will bring us to the platform of Bhava and Prema, which will destroy the samsara. First, we need Satam Krupa. Then Guru Padashraya. Then eventually everything will take place. This means there should be bhakti to Guru and also unto the Lord. Since Guru is a person who teaches about bhakti unto the Lord. When we, with complete faith, when we approach Guru, complete faith may not be 100%, but at least Ado Shraddha, some Shraddha is there. Okay, this person is genuine. He will not exploit me. He will not cheat me. With that faith, when we approach Guru, that Guru will tell us, worship Krishna, worship Bhagavan, worship Krishna or worship Rama, worship Vishnu or worship Narasimha or Varaha, according to the mood of the Guru. Guru will never say that worship me. Guru always engages the disciple in the worship of the Supreme Lord. So there is respect for Guru, respect for the Supreme Lord. That will eventually bring that disciple to the Prema platform. This is the function of Guru. Otherwise, that person cannot be called as a Guru. If a person engages the follower in his own service, he cannot be called as Guru. Because engaging oneself in one's own service, engaging someone in one's service does not give them deliverance from samsara. That will bind them in the samsara only. So later on in the 5th canto, teachings of Rishabhdev, he says that Gururna sasyat swajanona sasyat, pitana sasyat jananina sasyat, daivam na tasyat na patischa sasyam, na mochayad yat samupeta murtu. One who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death, from the samsara, should never become a spiritual master. He should not become a guru if he cannot deliver the follower from samsara. And he should not become a swajana. Swajana means a relative, a friend or relative. Then he should not become a father. He should not become mother. Huh? He should not become a devata. He should not become husband. If somebody want to accept this position, the unspoken responsibility is that they are taking the responsibility of the deliverance of their dependent. Even this is one of the mantra which is read during the marriage ceremony. The husband takes the responsibility of the deliverance of the wife at the time of marriage. And same way, during the initiation ceremony, the guru takes the responsibility of the deliverance of the disciple. It is there. So this is according to Shastra. Otherwise, one should not take that respectable position. One is not entitled to accept that respect from a follower. So that is understanding. So whenever we want to take a guru, we have to take such kind of person as our guru. Then only there is some tangible benefit by accepting that person as a guru. Otherwise, it is like a blind man leading another blind man into a blind well, something like that. Therefore, It is explained that the deliverance of Puranjana took place by bhakti to the Lord and Guru in his next life as Vaidarbhi. Puranjana did not got deliverance, but even eventually after passing through many life species, he became Vaidarbhi, the daughter of king of Vidarbha. Then he married to Malayadwaja. That Malayadwaja acted as Guru because she showed complete surrender to her husband. So in that surrender, bhakti may be there, bhakti may not be there, but the principle of surrender is there. So Malayadwaja was a great devotee because a great devotee became the master of his wife, and the wife showed complete surrender. He was pleased with her service. That pleasure inspired her. That pleasure inspired the Paramatma to come and teach her what she is supposed to understand, and by following which she will go back to order. That's how it will happen. So currently, the Guru, our Gurujan, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Gurus, they are teaching so many things. We are hearing so many things. We don't know how much of that is going to our heart. We are hearing and it is going out. So many things we hear and forget. We don't know. But if we have the sincerity or the selfless service attitude, one day the Chaitya Guru will awaken and he will give the realization of what all we have heard from our Gurujan. When that realization comes, then we will not make mistake. In order to inspire that Chaitya Guru to awaken and give that realization, we need to show our surrender to our Guru. This is our duty here. When this Guru is pleased with the health, that Guru will wake up. Chaitya Guru will get up and give us the realization. Till then, whatever we hear, whatever we do, they all remain on the theoretical platform only. The realization will come only when the Chaitya Guru wakes up and reveals us. Just like the Brahmana came unto her when she is in need. That was the time, that the crucial time for her. She is about to enter into the fire. Then the Chaitya Guru came and revealed what is to be done, now it is to be done. So with that knowledge, she went back to God. So that will happen to any follower. So it is like that. By sadhana bhakti, one attains prema bhakti. This is explained in verses 37 and 38. The current verse is 37. It is further extended to the next verse also. Prema bhakti to Vasudeva is completely dedicated to Lord alone, Samahita. It is for his pleasure alone, not for our pleasure. During sadhana bhakti, what were the different statements mentioned by some devotee who came in our life in the beginning of our ISKCON days? Can anyone remember what they used to say? Why they inspired us to practice bhakti? Mind control. थोड़ा chanting करो, mind थोड़ा control होगा, peaceful होगा. And then stress removal. This bhakti acts as a stress removal. And they say that, okay, come to temple, we have a nice feast, some kind of taste buds. So many. These are all secondary benefits. They are not the primary benefits. Initially, when we come to the path of bhakti, we are inspired by the secondary benefits only. No one tells that what bhakti is all about, why one should practice bhakti. Does anybody tell that bhakti, you are a spirit soul, you have to practice bhakti to go back to Golak Vrindavan? Does anybody tell? No one tells. So it's like that. But why we are inspired? Because there is some pleasure involved. We बहुत stress हो रहा है, okay, थोड़ा stress buster है, जाके आएंगे. और okay, प्रसाद है, थोड़ा feast है, अभी जाके आएंगे. Sunday feast, something like that. So there is a personal satisfaction involved in that. That's how we start bhakti. But ultimately, from there, bhakti should become for Lord's pleasure, not for one's own pleasure, but for Lord's pleasure. That will be taking place in the Asakti Bhava Prema level in that way. Prema Bhakti to Vasudeva is completely dedicated to the Lord alone. The Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, there we understand that Bhakti is meant for the Lord alone, not for us. It is for his pleasure, not for one's own pleasure. In a complete manner, this Prema produces Jnana and Vairagya. So the shloka says that this Prema Bhakti produces complete Jnana and complete Vairagya. क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप? ज्ञान को पीछे छोड़ दिया हमने, हमको ज्ञान नहीं चाहिए, हमको भक्त बनने का। वी हियर ना ऑलवेज भुक्ति मुक्ति सिद्धि कामी सकल अशांति कृष्ण भक्त निष्काम सकल, व्हाट इज दैट वर्स?
Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ataiva Shanta.
Ataiva Shanta. We hear always that Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Pishashira Kale. We always hear that Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda supposed to be treated like the Pishashi. It is only Bhakti supposed to be. We always hear within our regular classes, Karma, Jnana means we have so much distaste for hearing them. Even devotees are also asking us yesterday contamination, all these things. Because we have heard it, so we remember like that. Even when the shloka says that Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prajita Janati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Hetukam. So Vairagya matlab distaste. Jnana means jnana. What kind of jnana? What kind of vairagya? Bhakti करने से प्रेम भक्ति के आने के बाद ज्ञान वैराग्य मिल रहे क्या मतलब? भक्ति supposed to give कृष्ण प्रेमा. ये तो ज्ञान वैराग्य के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. But the jnana and vairagya mentioned in this verse are not aiming at merging with the Lord. There is such kind of jnana and vairagya are excluded. Here jnana and vairagya means, this is the shloka from our second chapter 1 to 7. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prajita Janeti Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahetukam. The meaning of that jnana and vairagya which produces at the level of bhava and prema is bhakti dedicated to Lord Krishna. That is prema bhakti. Endowed with special moods. Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya, Madhurya. This is Gaudiya flavor. Endowed with special moods. Quickly produces detachment from material goals. This Vairagya means detachment from all material goals. No more material goals. No more aspirations to do something in this material world. Any activity, good or bad. No interest in doing any activity in this material world. I am done with the material world. Now I am ready to go back to spiritual world. I want to serve the Lord there only in person. No more serving anyone here. बहुत हो गया, सबको सेवा कर चुका है, बस हो गया, मैं जा रहा हूँ वापस. That is why that kind of vairagya prema bhakti produces. When a person comes to prema bhakti, he does not want to remain without serving the Lord in person. If you remember NOD, what are the 9 symptoms of Bhava Bhakti? Anyone remember? Bhava level only 9 symptoms are manifesting. Prema level they become 100% or double 100%. Virakti, Manashunyata, Ashabandha, Namagane, Sadaruchi, Pritistad, Vasati Sale, Asakti, Greek and Latin, no, forgotten. That's why we need to remind again and again all these things. Avyartha Kalatam, Manashunyata. There is no Manashunyata. There is no hankering for worldly name and fame. Avyartha Kalatam. Don't want to waste even 1 second doing worldly activities. 1 second भी नहीं करने का worldly activity. सिर्फ only direct seva. And in that time, the devotee cries loudly, when will I get that good fortune of serving you? Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to cry in the Gambhira. Would Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cry in the Gambhira? Yes or no? Why? Why he was crying there? Huh? What do you mean by separation? Loud. Lunch हुआ नहीं क्या? आपके लिए snacks तैयार है 4 बजे. Loud. What do you mean by separation? Separation from Lord Krishna. Why is separation from Lord Krishna? Anyone else? Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was crying day and night in Gambhira?
For service, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji?
Separation for service. To serve him.
Yes, thank you. He want to serve Lord Krishna because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radharani. He want to serve Lord Krishna in person. अभी जगन्नाथपुरी गंभीर में एक रूम में बंदी में हो, बंदी खाने में बंदी हो गया. far away from Jagannath Ji. Jagannath Ji in the mandir and he is here. Want to serve in person. In whenever Mahaprabhu goes into that vision, he was serving some way, either plucking the flowers or making the garland, something or the other. He was doing along with all the gopis. So when a devotee comes to Bhava and Prema platform, this is what they hanker for. When will I be in the party of the gopis? Or I mean, from Mahaprabhu point of view, party of the gopis, where I will get to serve the Lord in person directly. That is the hankering of a devotee when he comes to Prema platform. In Bhava, they start manifesting. The symptoms are manifesting. In Prema, they fully occupy. So when that is not possible, whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the dream, he was experiencing that seva bliss. When he comes out, he keeps on hitting onto the walls. He was crying. So I came out of that seva, so like something like that. That will be the mood of a person at the level of prema. That kind of vairagya one develops. Does not like to be in this material world. Want to go back to spiritual world and be part of that party of the gopis or whichever rasa one is in. That is the meaning of vairagya in this verse. And what do you mean by jnana? So detachment quickly produces detachment from material goals and knowledge of the Lord, devoid of the desire for liberation. This jnana means not the so-called traditional jnana about the just the distinction between the body and atma. That is already comes in the jnana aspect, in the jnana marga. But here this jnana, which is a result of practicing sadhana bhakti, which manifests at the level of prema bhakti, is the complete revelation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. About the Lord, there is complete revelation at the level of prema. That knowledge, this verse is talking about. This is not about the knowledge of Brahman. This is the knowledge of Bhagavan. Lord gives us a general idea of himself by teaching the Vibhuti Yoga in the 7th, 9th, and 10th chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Even Lord goes one step ahead by showing the universal form. Still, that is his manifestation in the material world. But when a sadhaka comes to Prema Bhakti platform, Lord's true identity in the spiritual world will be revealed to him. That is called Jnanam here. These two will manifest when a devotee comes to Bhava and Prema platform. That is the final result of Bhakti. And this is how Narada Muni says. आप कर्म कर्म बोल रहे हैं, कर्म मतलब ड्रीम है. ड्रीम से बाहर आने के लिए you need to have basic knowledge that is about distinction between the body and Atma and Paramatma. And with that understanding, you need to practice bhakti by taking shelter of a guru. Guru will engage you in sadhana bhakti. The purpose of engaging in sadhana bhakti is to come to Prema Bhakti platform. When what will you attend at the Prema Bhakti platform? You will get jnana and vairagya. And what is the next result of attending jnana and vairagya? Having understood who the Lord is in the spiritual world. Does anyone want to stay here anymore, even for a moment? One side there is vairagya, full distaste from disinterest in the material world. Other side, knowledge of the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. Does anyone want to stay in this material world? Hare Krishna. That is the final result of Prema Bhakti, which is revealed by the practice of Sadhana Bhakti, which is given to us by the mercy of a Guru. That's how it is all connected to.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, like one part you mentioned in this was that whatever we read or whatever we come across, the spiritual knowledge is by the mercy of Guru or the senior Vaishnavas, like. But that knowledge will be realized only when the Lord in the form of Chaitya Guru will bless us. Have I put it clearly or because there was some confusion in my mind?
No, that's what the Puranjana story reveals, na? The Vaidarbhi is revealed the complete knowledge by the Brahmana only. That Brahmana is Paramatma himself. So it is like that. So I mean to say, we may have small realizations, but complete realization will be possible by the revelation by the Chaitya Guru. So like that we should take.
Okay. Yeah,
The
because
manifestation of the Chaitya Guru in the form of our Shiksha Guru, Diksha Gurus, with their mercy also we have some realizations. That is to keep us on the path of bhakti. But the final realization will be given by the Chaitya Guru. What was the verse? The one most important verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which Prabhupada quotes now and then in NOD, again and again, in Bhagavad Gita also. The favorite verse of Srila Prabhupada from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which Lord Chaitanya spoke to Sanatana Goswami. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoi Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Karoi Uday. This Prabhupada quotes every now and then in Nectar of Devotion, from the beginning to the end. Even in Bhagavatam here and there, Bhagavad Gita also here and there. नित्य सिद्ध जो कृष्ण प्रेमा नित्य सिद्ध भक्ति के मन में है वो हमारा मन में भी है, but that is hidden. We have to revive that by the practice of Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta. Shuddha Chitta means with a determined purified heart. Shravanadi, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, not Sakyam Atmanivedana, but other things. With that, we will come to the point of Smaranam. Huh? Padasam. Eventually, we come to the point of Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, and Smarana Mandal. That's where the Nitya Siddhaka Krishna Prema will be revealed. So, Sadhana Bhakti will reveal the Prema Bhakti which is hidden in the core of the heart. That is understanding.
okay. And one more thing, Prabhuji, like you mentioned some analogy about the wood and sansara in the beginning of this verse. I didn't understand it.
If you want to prepare sweet rice, you have to cook by burning the wood. At the end, you get beautiful sweet rice, but the wood is destroyed. So for us to practice bhakti, we have to use this samsara. Using samsara means we have to use our human body. We have to use all the facilities that are there in our disposition, in our disposal. Our home, all the everything that we have, we need to practice bhakti. So by practicing sadhana bhakti, that is like cooking, we come to the prema bhakti platform. That is sweet rice. But by the way, the wood is burnt into ashes. So ash has no existence.
The
Samsara
sansara.
will be burnt away.
Okay, thanks.
So in that way.
Yeah.
That's what. When we come to Prema Bhakti, we don't want to remain in the material world. So one wants to go back to spiritual world. Then where is the samsara?
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
In that way. Hare Krishna, you could follow these two verses. I have taken some time to explain because these are like key verses. One for the Jnana, one for Bhakti. Our entire philosophy is kind of gypped in these two verses. Yes, Mati.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You also
Thank you.
mentioned, sorry, Mataji, you continue.
No, Prabhuji asked, so I'm saying understood. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Prabhuji, you mentioned that more of a jnana is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, like gives more of a jnana part. So I didn't understand, like Bhagavatam especially was written to glorify the bhakti, no? So why the jnana part is more?
A building cannot stand on its own without basement. So Jnana acts like the basement. Without the proper understanding of that we are the spirit soul and that spirit soul is an expansion of the Supreme Lord and it is the duty of the spirit soul to serve the Supreme Lord. Can we ever practice bhakti?
No.
Without that Sambandha Jnana, can we execute Abhidaya?
No.
That Sambandha Jnana is Jnana.
Okay. So what we say that Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan, that is at the Jnana platform.
Mataji, you don't get confused. Jnana means understanding the distinction between the body and Jiva and Paramatma.
Okay.
And acting on the platform of soul, not still continuing to act on the platform of body. That will act as a basis in order to progress further in Jnana Marga, Ashtanga Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga, even what to speak of all these things, even in order to perform Nishkama Karma Yoga. A householder, a typical householder, a typical pious householder in India, we can, without any doubt, we can call them Sakama Karmis. They're all religious. They want to go to holy places. They want to take bath in the holy rivers. They want to offer charities. They want to break coconuts. Everything they are doing. They give names to their children with the names of Devatas, Ganesh, Shiva, Kartikeya, Murugan. What was the Lord's name? Murugan nahi, aapka Guru Vairappan. So like that, the Lord's name they give and they call the Lord's name. They have interest in hearing about all these things. They perform pious activities. They celebrate functions. They do all these things. Typically, every Indian by birth is a Sakama Karmi. Unless till the time they are exposed to modern education and they become adamant. Otherwise, everyone is a Sakama Karmi. They are interested in the Dharma Artha Kama. But when we have this basis of understanding that we are not only just a pious living entity, but we are actually Atmas, different from the gross body and subtle body, and we are a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Then they start functioning on the level of Nishkama Karma Yoga. With further progress, they practice Jnana Yoga. With further progress, they practice Ashtanga Yoga. This is one side, one path. Other path is they practice Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, and with complete purification, they get to practice one day Ananya Bhakti. That is another path. As we have studied in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita first 6 chapters talks about Karma, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. The second 6 chapters talks about Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, and then finally Ananya Bhakti. These are the two things that are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of all the Upanishads, which is the essence of all the Vedas. So it is like that.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, Ananya Bhakti and Keval Bhakti are same, no?
Yeah, Ananya Bhakti or Keval Bhakti both are same.
Thank you.
Without any mixture of karma or jnana. Louder, louder, louder.
This Jnana refers to
No, not like that. Jnana means basic knowledge, Prabhuji. Of course, their Jnana Karma Dhyanavurta means that generally the Bhakti Mishra Jnana, Bhakti Mishra Yoga or Nishkama Karma Yoga, they are aimed at Sayujya Mukti. The traditional yoga ladder which is spoken in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the ultimate goal of that is Sayujya Mukti. The different variety of bhaktis, that Aishwarya Bhakti or Madhurya Bhakti, which includes Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti or Ananya Bhakti, they are aiming at entry into Vaikuntha. There are Mukti is Mukti. In Mukti, there are two distinctions. One is Sayujya Mukti, that is Brahman. Other one is Vaikuntha Mukti. In Vaikuntha Mukti, again, four different stages. Sarishti, Salokya, Samipya, Saurupya. There are two goals for you. Either you go to Brahman or you go to Vaikuntha. Okay. So Brahman जाने के लिए recommended path is निष्काम कर्म योग, ज्ञान योग, अष्टांग योग. भगवान जाने के लिए recommended path is कर्म मिश्र भक्ति, ज्ञान मिश्र भक्ति, योग मिश्र भक्ति, and अनन्य भक्ति. Okay. So when it comes to Rupa Goswami give the definition, Jnana Karma the Anavurtam means in our bhakti also there is some mixture of karma, some mixture of jnana. Myself, brahmachari, all of you are gurasthas. In order to maintain ourselves, we have so many duties to perform. Since I am in the brahmachari ashram, I need to work for the maintenance of brahmachari ashram. All of you are in the home. You need to work for the maintenance of the home and the people in the home. Yes or no? That is our karma aspect. And since we are trying to practice bhakti, for that we need to have some basic understanding of who we are. That is the aspect of jnana. We are studying Shastra. Shastra says that the material world is made up of 24 elements. Pradhana gives rise to Mahatattva, Mahatattva gives rise to Ahankara, Ahankara gives rise to mind and Buddhi, Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, Panchamahabhuta, Tanmatras. Complete study of these 24 elements is called Jnana. And going beyond and trying to understand what is Pradhana, what is Kala, what is Karma, what is Ishvara, what is Jiva. The complete knowledge of 28 elements is Jnana. And developing distaste from all the 24 elements is Vairagya. And taking shelter of Ashtanga Yoga and raising prana from the Mooladhara Chakra to Brahmarandra and Ajna Chakra, then piercing through Ajna Chakra and going to Brahman, that is Ashtanga, by one's own endeavors. So, in that way. So, normally that Jnana and Ashtanga Yoga are aiming at this, trying to analyzing what the material world is made up of, the 24 elements and beyond them 4 more elements and going back to Brahman. That is the Jnana and so when we practice bhakti also we need to have some basic knowledge of these things. Uske bina हम bhakti start नहीं कर सकते. Without understanding who we really are, how can we practice bhakti? And without understanding why we should practice bhakti, we cannot practice bhakti. So that aspect of jnana, that aspect of vairagya does not overpower our practice of bhakti. That's why it is said jnana karma de anavrutam. We cannot remove them. They will be there by default. They will be there in our practice of bhakti, but they will not overpower our practice of bhakti. They will only assist our practice of bhakti, so that our bhakti becomes smooth with the basic knowledge. It becomes more and more strong. And within bhakti also we have jnana and vairagya. So within jnana, the jnana is only knowledge about 28 elements. Within bhakti, the jnana is about Lord's vibhutis, Lord's pastimes, Lord's aishwarya. Lord's aishwarya will be revealed. And within bhakti, the vairagya is vairagya from Sayujya Mukti. In the jnana and vairagya, in the jnana and Ashtanga Yoga, there is vairagya from the material world. When we come to bhakti, within bhakti we should have a vairagya. From what? From Sayujya Mukti. And we should have attachment to Vaikuntha alone. So here this vairagya is about vairagya from Sayujya Mukti. And here the jnana is the knowledge about Lord's Aishwarya, and to be, as you go deeper, Lord's Madhurya. For the Ananya Bhaktas, Lord's Madhurya. For the Aishwarya Bhaktas, Lord's Aishwarya. So it is like that. The term may be called as jnana, but you cannot take one meaning only everywhere. For where you are talking it, based on that the meaning changes. The meaning of jnana for the jnani is, it is the knowledge of 28 elements. The meaning of jnana for a devotee is, it is about Lord's vibhutis, Lord's pastimes, Lord's avataras. So that is the meaning. And the meaning of vairagya for the jnanis and yogis is vairagya from swarga and from the enjoyment in the material world. And meaning of vairagya for the devotees, it is vairagya from Sayujya Mukti, vairagya from Brahmananda. They only aspire for Sevananda in the Vaikuntha. So it is like that. This is how the meaning changes as we progress further and further. Why we need to give up? If you want to enter into Golok Vrindavan, you need to give up the Aishwarya Jnana also. Vrajavasi does not have any Aishwarya Jnana. That becomes Vairagya for Golok Vrajavasis. For Aishwarya Bhakti, the Brahmananda is Vairagya. For Madhurya Bhakti, Aishwarya is Vairagya. They need to give up Aishwarya also. Yeah, thank you for adding that. Good. That's how the terminology, because the word is used to denote something. It is a concept. So in that way, thank you. So where you want to go, you decide accordingly. So which kind of knowledge you want to gain, which kind of vairagya you want to attain, accordingly it varies. Okay. So we'll just do 38th verse because both are connected. 37, 38 are together. So we'll do this and we'll close for today. The word ahetukam, without any motive, suggests that since this jnana and vairagya have arisen from bhakti, they will not have any goal other than bhakti. Ahetukam means there is no other goal all the way up to Brahman. When we practice bhakti, when we come to the Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti platform, it becomes ahetuki bhakti. There is no hetu. There is no one who does not practice bhakti for the sake of even up to Brahman, entering into Brahman also. That is called hetu. Analyte, yes. So Chirad. So now you see, by taking shelter of Guru, Guru engages in sadhana bhakti. By the practice of sadhana bhakti, we come to the platform of Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. Having come to Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, there is revelation of desire to serve the Lord in person. Then what happens? Sochiradeva Rajarshe Sat Achyuta Katashraya Shrunvata Shraddha Danasya Nityadasad Adhiyata. O saintly king, one who hears and studies regularly with faith very soon attains Bhakti Yoga in the form of shelter of the topics of the Lord to attain Prema. Here again, how Sadhana Bhakti takes us to the platform of Prema Bhakti. That is indicated. Sadhana for attaining Prema is also Bhakti Yoga. One should take shelter of the topics of the Lord in order to come to Prema. What do you mean by Sadhana Bhakti? Sadhana Bhakti by definition it includes primarily Shravanam Kirtanam and secondarily Archanam, Vandanam, Padasevanam, Dasyam. These four. Smaranam, Sakyam, Atmanivedana will manifest at the later stage. Asakti, Bhava platform. They will not happen in the beginning. Primarily Shravanam Kirtanam, secondarily other activities. Archanam, Padasevanam, Dasyam, Vandanam. All these things. Who is qualified? Those who study Bhagavad Dharma and hear and chant and remember the Lord with faith. Hearing in this verse means these three principal activities of bhakti. When it is said Shraddhata Shraddha Danasya, with faith, hearing should not end with hearing. Hearing should lead to doing some activity. If hearing does not lead to activity, that hearing is good for nothing. So hearing should lead to Shravanam. Shravanam should lead to Kirtanam. That Kirtanam should lead to Smaranam and other things. Otherwise, the Shravanam is of good for nothing. So this is mentioned from the beginning of the Bhagavatam. You remember these verses? Shrunvato Shraddhaya Nityam Ganatastha Swasheshitam Kalena Na Atidirgena Bhagavan Vishte Urdi. Our bhakti begins with hearing. When we hear properly, we are inspired to chant. Chanting means not only japa chanting, chanting is also speaking Bhagavatam. This is also. So then we also inspired to do Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Padasevanam, all these things we do. And by good fortune, one day we come to the platform of Smaranam. When we will do Smaranam? When Bhagavan enters into our heart. He will reveal who he is. Then only we can do Smaranam. When the Chaitya Guru reveals about himself, then we can do Smaranam. तब तक हमारा स्मरणम ऐसा ऊपर ऊपर चलता रहेगा. अभी स्मरणम स्नैक्स के बारे में चलता रहेगा. So it's like that. Tasmat, therefore, Sarvatmana Rajan, completely with Manasa Vacha Karmana, with all respects. Hari Sarvatra Sarvada. Sarvatra. At all places. Sarvada at all times. What to do? Shrotavya Kirtitavyasya Smartavya Bhagavan Ranam. A human being should always do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam and all other things. This is the Sadhana Bhakti as Bhagavatam describes. This is how Narada Muni slowly elevating the consciousness of, sorry, not just Prachina Bari, all of us, me and you also. So this is how this chapter is one of the key chapters. As I mentioned in the beginning, we will understand what is the intelligence of Narada Muni, how he gradually elevates. Later on, the chapter becomes more and more technical. Get ready. Okay, I will stop here. There is another class at 4 o'clock. A small break we need. So we'll continue next Saturday from verse number 39, 40 onwards. What is an ideal atmosphere to cultivate that prema? What happens in such association? So later on, we'll get to know more and more details. So thank you very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.